Hi, I'm Annika Johnson from Al Johnson's in Sister Bay. I hope you enjoy my new video series called Door County Girl. These are stories of my life, the people and places that I love, and of course how we all survive here in northern Wisconsin. You can come back as often as you like, but don't forget to subscribe to Al's YouTube channel. I'll be posting lots of really cool new videos. So let's go. Welcome to another episode of Door County Girl. I am back with my brother.
That's Rolf.
Yep, and it's spring, Rolf.
It is spring.
It's like a couple days into spring, and yesterday it was 40 degrees. Woo!
And today it's beautiful and sunny outside.
Yep, sunny and beautiful. And we decided to make a Kladdkaka,
which is a sticky Swedish chocolate cake.
And it's one of our ultimate favorites. My friend Susie, who works over at Skoll, that's her favorite cake to make. So whenever she feels like it, she makes a one and brings it over, and we all quick try to get a slice because it's so delicious with coffee.
And I know how Susie makes hers because it's the same recipe that we have with the pan.
The pan.
Okay, so there's a story behind the pan.
This is our life as a cartoon character
I don't
story.
have the special pan today to show off. It's very kind of Art Deco with the edges.
It's like a
crinkled.
small bundt pan without the hole in the center.
Right.
It's very decorative around the edges, a non-stick pan, and we sell them in the boutique.
But the bottom, but we were out of them.
Okay, but that's part of the story.
And then there's a little concave in the bottom of the pan,
a little bit,
because you want that, when you see how we make the sticky cake, it's kind of underdone, but it's not.
Because it's a little crunchy on the outside, but it's super gooey in the inside.
Right, that's the right way to make it. So,
well, here's the funny story. He doesn't know the story. So my friend, Ashley Kladdkaka, who is sort of family to me.
Oh, yeah.
It was her birthday on St. Patrick's Day, and no one baked her a cake, and they were having a party. So I said, you know what, I'm going to bake Ashley a cake. 2 cakes, by the way. I baked her a lemon cake, and then I found the Kladdkaka pan, and I said, I'll have to bake her a chocolate cake, too, because some people might not like lemon. So I took that pan in the kitchen, which we sold in the boutique. We don't have them right now, but we will have them again.
With the recipe
and
in
the recipe
bottom of
comes
the pan.
with, just like in the visitor cake or in the almond cake pans that we have. And so then I brought it in the kitchen, and I couldn't, dummy me, didn't use parchment paper on the bottom, so I couldn't get the cake out. So when I couldn't go to the birthday party in Stoughton, Wisconsin, so my 2 friends, their sister and brother, took the 2 cakes with them, and Ashley was going to bring the pan back when she comes for a visit. Well, unbeknownst to me, Rolf decides to make a Kladdkaka pan.
Okay,
Up, stop. So I go in today, and I see that he's still in the kitchen, and we're supposed to be here at 10 o'clock to film, and Rolf's there at 10 to 10 trying to make the Kladdkaka, and he's like, I've been looking all over for the pan. Okay, the pan that no one ever uses, ever.
The reason nobody uses it is because I put it there in anticipation to make it one day.
But then you should have told me, because I gave Ashley the cake.
Or maybe somebody said, hey, can I take this pan? I would never go, Annika, don't take this pan. Kit, don't take this pan. Lars, don't take this pan. Johnny, don't take this pan.
But just because Murphy's Law, I use it. Murphy's Law, of course, was on St. Patrick's Day weekend, and I took that pan, and it's coming back again.
But it's not back yet. So I grabbed a springform pan, which works well.
Blah, blah, blah. That's our life as a cartoon character.
So I would recommend a springform pan anyway. They're easier to find, and nobody's going to steal them on you, hopefully. And parchment paper is a must.
Oh yeah, a must. You can spray that pan like crazy, and it's still going to be sticky.
Yes.
Don't do what I did.
So anyway, we got a couple things I need you to do. I need you to measure out what's 3/4 cup of flour, or 98 grams.
How do I turn this on?
You push the button. This thing will tar up to 0. Make sure it's on grams, which it is.
And how much are we doing?
98.
98. 78. Ooh.
180.
What the? No, it was 130. What the heck?
All right. Ooh, that's pretty good.
96.
102.
Ah!
That's close.
Okay.
All right.
98.
Perfect. So we can set the scale aside. We don't need that
We
for
do
right
not
this
need
minute.
the scale.
We don't need the flour any longer.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm going to need you to do is we're going to brown this butter.
Okay.
You'll get all the measurements on our website. This is, I believe it's a stick and a half of butter, and salted butter is fine. This pan is already hot, so
Yeah, and it's funny because the Kladdkaka pan, when you buy the pan, it's unsalted butter.
well,
But I did make it with salted butter, and I just didn't add extra salt.
salt is a plus in this cake, by the way.
Why do you want to extra salt it?
So this takes about 3 minutes on a medium-high heat. And you're going to want to, you know how you get that brown butter? It
Yeah.
kind of smells kind of caramely
Yeah.
or kind of nutty?
Smells
That's what we're
great.
looking for. And of course, I prefer a wooden spoon. You know what I do with all the wooden spoons when I buy them? The handles are too long. I cut them off.
Why?
Because when you have that long handle, sooner or later you get something heavy, they break. And you choke up on it anyway, so I just get rid of that part.
Why don't you just make your own line of spoons?
I should. And you know what most of these are made out of?
What?
Birch.
There you go.
Birch wood.
You know, you and Kit and I were supposed to have a whittling contest. Maybe you should whittle some spoons.
I thought I won that contest.
No, you didn't. Kit and I beg to differ. None of us even started.
Well, you guys got to carry your knives with you.
You lying. Kit's over there saying he's already got his made. Oh, boy.
Okay, so when we brown this butter, what we're eventually going to do is we're going to add the sugar, okay?
And you're using brown sugar.
Brown sugar, and you know what? For a more caramelized taste, I recommend using dark brown sugar, but I had only light brown sugar today, but I'll use dark brown sugar because I think it gets a better flavor.
Okay.
So now this butter is starting to bubble a little bit.
Yep.
So I'm going to crank up the heat just a bit. And what you're trying to get is, you know, you'll see the salt will float to the top, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of want it to kind of get that, like I say, that the milk solids will sign up, almost not burnt. Obviously, if you leave it by itself, it'll burn, right?
Okay.
So, meanwhile, while we're doing that, I got an art project for you.
What is it? Oh, I haven't started on.
You get to trace this
Okay. Trace it with a pencil.
with a pencil and cut it out.
Okay. Ooh, I feel like I'm in art class.
You're right. This I can do easily.
And then I'm going to cut it out.
And if you're ever going to make
Do I have to
these
make a double or just one?
No, just one.
Okay.
If you're ever, I'm going to use this for a pot of protection so we don't
Okay.
mess up the oven. But if you're doing these at home and you got a spring pan, what I do is I get parchment paper in the roll, take out a bunch, fold it over, and cut like 10 circles. That way you'll have them ready to go every time you need them.
Doesn't have to be perfect, does it?
Doesn't have to be perfect.
You know, I like to get things done in a
Hurry.
You just got to be able to smash it down in the spring form pan.
Okay.
So the butter is boiling right now. So like I say, if you're doing this, make sure you keep your eyes on it because it can go from boiling to brown to burnt very quickly. Should take about 3 to 4 minutes total. So we're gonna need that other half of that stuff
right now?
and when we bake.
Okay, well, I'm going to put it
All right,
right
so-
here for now.
I want you to smell this. You can smell it before it gets to the nutty flavor, or till it gets to the burnt flavor. See, it's starting to smell more like brown.
Now I just
It's-
need to dump some noodles in there or
And-
dunk my
yes.
toast in there.
But what I do want you to do is pour the brown sugar in here now,
Okay.
and then followed by the cocoa.
Brown sugar and then the cocoa.
Right? And once you do this, you only want to stir it on a hot stove for, about, I'd say,
Ooh, look
a
at
minute.
that. That looks good.
just about a minute though. Because it'll burn quickly because now that you got that sugar in
Yeah,
there.
and I hate it when it burns. You can taste it like burnt.
And it's going to be quite hot. And the thing we don't want to do is crack an egg in there when it's hot, or you'll have a scrambled egg in there.
Scrambled egg cake.
So we got this cold metal bowl.
Okay. So you would put that in first to cool it off, and then
We're
crack
gonna
the
put
eggs
that
in?
into there, and then we're gonna let it cool, and then we're gonna mix all the other ingredients in
So I
there.
have a question. Do we have to grease this pan too?
The edges of it. So we're gonna put this together, and then we're gonna spray the edges.
Okay.
Some people like to take the parchment paper, put it around there. It's unnecessary if you got a decent springform pan.
Okay.
So now we're gonna pour this in here.
It even smells better with the chocolate and everything in it.
You know what this also calls for? A lot of recipes call for regular salt. I use the kosher salt just because I think it gives it not gritty. It's hard to.
Yeah, you know how you get a candy bar and it's got a
Yeah.
little sea salt in it or
When you
something?
buy, I like that dark
I like that
chocolate
little
with sea
chunky.
salt.
I know you were not. I mean, I'm not supposed to really be eating a lot of salt now
Right.
anymore.
And I try not to,
And
but this
Rolf
isn't
and I
a lot.
both. Yeah,
This is
once
a
you
big
get
cake.
old, you can't have salt.
This is a big cake, and it's only got about a tablespoon, or a teaspoon of kosher salt in it. If you use regular salt, I think it's only 3/4 of a spoon.
All right.
So let's go ahead and put the salt in. Uh-oh, I made a mess over there.
Whoa!
Got a little carried
Rolf's
away.
getting a little wild over here.
That's what the rag is for.
Clean up in aisle 2.
Meanwhile, you can go ahead and put this springform together.
Okay.
You know how that goes, right? Put it in the bottom there,
kinda.
and then lock this thing
Yeah,
together,
well,
just
don't
like
lock
that.
it yet. Okay. All right. I'm going to spray it.
Yep, go ahead and spray it, and make sure you get the edges.
You have to spray the parchment too, right?
You can, doesn't matter anymore now. I'm just trying to cool this down plenty fast right now.
You'd think with all that butter in the cake, it would never get sticky, but it does.
Oh yeah.
It sticks.
I've never tried to make it with margarine. I suppose it might work. Or you could use an oil of some type.
Ugh. You got wild. Good thing I'm not wearing white.
Okay.
All right.
You're looking for this thing to be cool enough to kind of hold on to the bottom of it. It's a little warm right now.
Ooh. Did you see the Northern Lights last night?
I did. You sent me a text.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I went on Facebook, and one of my friends posted a couple pictures. And I live way up on Highview Road, up by Ellison Bay, you know,
One of the highest spots in Door County.
Yeah,
by the
but
way.
I don't really get a very good view
No,
of the bay
because-
and
right.
the north because there's a lot of cherry trees and trees. But I did see one of my friends, Heather Laughlin, that used to own Uncle Tom's.
Right.
She posted some pictures, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Northern Lights. Of course, Rolf and I belong to the text everybody when there's a moon issue or a Northern Lights issue.
When the moon is big and bright or it's beautiful for some reason.
Yeah,
you
like
watch
that
all
big, the big harvest moons
Harvest
that come
moon.
up.
We
Because
call it-
Rolf
we-
lives on Lake Michigan
So
side.
we call each other and we text each other. You gotta go see the moon, moon,
We
moon.
don't even say that. We just
say
write moon. And then last night I texted Rolf and said, Northern Lights. And Rolf's like, okay.
So I got in my car and drove to Garrett Bay, and I
Yeah.
had a very good view of them. And I was surprised there was nobody else down there, because a lot of times when I go out when the Northern Lights
Then
have been
everybody's
advertised,
there.
they're everywhere I
Well,
want
they're
to
not
go.
on the Northern Light hotline like us.
Well, you know where, yeah, but you know, right at the very beginning of the pandemic, and they had the Northern Lights were spotted, and everybody was kind of hunkering down.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, it was a traffic jam up in Northport.
Yeah, everybody went to go.
I couldn't find a place to park.
Yes.
So I went on your road, and it wasn't so bad. If you stood up on top of the roof of the truck, you could kind of
Yeah,
see.
and you kind of have to go up towards where Humbug and High intersect.
Yep.
Because I told you that one time when I was coming home and I almost ran that guy over laying on the middle of the intersection. I'm like, what are you doing? It's dark. He's laying in the middle of the road.
He's looking for the
He goes,
Northern Lights.
I'm watching the moon come up. I'm
Oh,
like,
geez.
in the middle of the road?
Okay, I had a guy, one time I was leaving Al's, and I was driving through the parking lot, and we had that big light in the back, the big security or safety light,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a guy laying down there, and he's got a camera, and I asked, are you okay? And he says, yeah, he worked for some nature magazine, and he was taking photographs of the bats, diving into the lights, eating all the insects.
You never told me
No.
that. That's cool.
All right, so here we go. So crack one egg in there at a time, and I'll keep stirring.
Ah.
We're gonna make this batter smooth.
Well, anyways, Heather Laughlin posted some pictures, you know, and then I'm like, whoop, Steve-O.
Yeah, he's
Northern
another
Lights. Steve-O lives up in
Yeah.
Hills Rock, right across from the church there when you go to Newport. And he's got the perfect spot there. He can zip right over there.
Oh yeah, he's got a great spot for all kinds of
I
wildlife
think he's on
watching.
vacation or something.
Yeah, he's down in Florida
He
today.
can't see the Northern Lights. Too bad for him.
Okay, now go ahead and pour in the chocolate chips
Chocolate chips
and the flour.
and the flour. Slowly, or just doesn't
Just a
matter?
little matter. It's just, we don't get a big cloud of flour.
Okay. Hanukkah likes a tidy ship. Tidy ship, Rolf.
Here, you can get rid of this thing for me now. You know, those
You're not going to stir it up
chocolate-
more?
I'm going to do with the spatula.
Just whack it out. Use your finger, yeah.
There we go.
Slick a pot.
Delicious.
Our posse here doesn't care if we stick fingers in things because it's just like the five of us eating, right?
I think the rule of thumb is you're allowed to on anything that you're going to cook later on. So.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I want you to do. I need that bottom half of that one because we're going to put it in the oven.
Okay.
And I don't know how tight that
So you just
springform is
need
gonna be.
this,
Just put it
right?
on the right down below there, so nothing leaks through.
Oh,
Get
I
my
see what
drift?
you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Now we're going to pour this in here.
It's like the Swedish version
Of a
of
brownie,
brownies,
yeah.
but it's more fancy looking. It's a little more.
It'd be even fancier looking if I had the right
It's not.
Kladdkaka pan.
I'm never gonna live this one down.
Slicka pot.
Oh, slicka, you betcha.
And that is it. Now it goes into the oven, and we're going to bake it for
Rolf and I and Lars used to.
325 degrees for about 30 minutes. And you
We-
kind of want to undercook this, so don't overestimate your time. Check it at about 20,
Yes.
25 minutes.
Because I actually thought it didn't look done when I did mine.
you want it
and
to be
it got
kind
a
of-
little burnt on the edges.
Yeah, and what you want it to do, you don't want it to be like a brownie or a cake all the way through. You want it to be kind of sunken in the middle, kind of shiny, beyond moist. That's for sure.
Do you know that Rolf and Lars and I used to fight over the spatulas from the mixer from my mom? I mean, to the point where we would have to take turns. And Mom would have to be the police.
All right.
Right.
Let's have a cup of coffee while we wait for this thing to bake.
I have one right
I have
here.
my
I
cup
happen to
here.
have my little fika right here.
And I brought some coffee.
Oh, you know, I brought coffee today because you were late. And
Why was I
felt-
late?
Because Rolf overslept.
No, because somebody forgot my.
No, that's not even true. He set the alarm for 6 o'clock a.m., didn't hear the alarm go off, and didn't get there till what time? I saw you at the restaurant. It was quarter to 10.
I woke up when Kit sent me a text.
And Rolf was like this. He doesn't even know what to do because he's panicking. So then Annika steps in and says,
Let's back up a little bit. You know why I
Oh.
was tired? Because somebody sent me a text to go look at the northern lights at midnight. So.
yeah, I guess
Anyhow.
I'm guilty of that.
Well, now we're going to wait for about 30 to 35 minutes. So let's have our coffee. Okay, about 30 minutes went by. We check this periodically because oven temperatures are different, and you're going to see why I put the parchment paper underneath, because these spring pans tend to leak just a tad.
Yeah, and you saved.
See that?
Oh, yeah.
So I
Good,
saved that
smart
other
move.
square. Now, normally at home, I would just take another sheet pan and put it underneath there just to catch it, or you could line a piece of aluminum foil on
Looks
there.
good.
So, and you can see the bottom, the middle is just
Nice
slightly
and squishy.
underdone. Yep, it's just a tad.
I think I overcooked mine when I made it, but
And then we're gonna take the spring pan form off of here. It should come off. Might have to help the cake out a little bit.
Want me to hold it while you...
Well, don't, oh, it's hot, so careful.
Oh.
Oh boy, there we go.
Here. It's not that hot. I got it.
Yeah. Oh, here we cut this little spill off. There we go.
How about we just pull it away?
Okay, there we go.
I'll take this part.
Ah, is that too hot for you?
No, because my fingers are seasoned from grabbing hot plates as a waitress. I swear they're dead on my fingertips. What do you think?
Okay, so now we're going to try to transfer it to this plate for a little.
Yes, because it needs to look nice and fancy because our guests are coming.
There we go. And now to give it that little extra touch, some people,
I'm just grabbing a cleaner.
Some people like to put extra of the cocoa on top, but it's not sweetened then, and they think it's plenty sweet. And some people, they can go with that, but I prefer a little powdered sugar on top.
I prefer powdered sugar on top because it just looks nice, you know?
You don't need much.
And it doesn't melt.
Just enough to dust it.
And you know, whipped cream is optional with this. I don't think it really needs
Whipped cream, ice cream.
Yep, but it would be definitely a bonus if we had a little whipped cream and ice cream, right?
Yeah.
Forget the lava cakes. We just need to have this Kladdkaka.
Yep. And the other thing you don't want to do, you don't bother testing it with a thermometer or a toothpick or a knife. You know how you do that with many cakes? Because you want it to be kind of sticky. That's the whole point of a Swedish sticky cake.
Yeah. Look at, they're perfect.
So that's going to be yours. This half is going to be mine.
How come you get the bigger
I'm
piece?
kidding. I can cut yours in half and you can have 2 pieces.
I'm good. I can always have another slice.
No.
I'm not shy.
See, now take a look at that. See, it's just slightly underdone in the middle.
Yes, it's nice
not
and moist.
underdone. That's how it's supposed to be.
I know a lot of people hate the word moist, but it's nice and moist in here. Jessica Charney, it's moist in this cake.
Or Bryn.
Bryn. All right.
And you should taste the salt as well.
Yours definitely turned out better than mine.
And like I said, the trick I really think is the browning of that butter, but you know what it is missing?
You know what's nice about this?
Fika.
Oh, jag måste ha
That's
lite
what it's
kaffe.
missing.
It's time to fika.
Perfect. This is a perfect afternoon cake.
Yes.
Perfect dessert cake, perfect for anytime cake, perfect for visiting.
Perfect breakfast cake.
Perfect to bring somebody's house as a housewarming or just a visiting opportunity.
You know how all of a sudden chocolate and salt mixed together with dark chocolate's all the rage?
I love that stuff.
That's all the rage. You don't need a chocolate bar if you can bake a cake like this.
Super easy to make. I think you should give it a shot, and you can try it with the recipe that you find, like I said, comes with the Kladdkaka cake.
Yep.
Or not the Kladdkaka.
Club.
Or you can try the one I did, and we'll have that online as well. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next Door County Girl episode.
Yes, because we will be baking something tasty.
All the time.
Yep. How did we get to be such foodies? They're delicious.
Very good.
Ashley Kladdkaka's going to be jealous that your cake turned out better than mine when
And it should be nice and crusty on the edge there.
Oh yeah, like a little crispy.
Skål, everybody. Hej då.
Hey, do. Thanks for watching Door County Girl. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.